Good day. Shooting is my single favorite hobby of all time. When I started out as a kid, I didn't really know all that much about the history of firearms, but being an inquisitive young lad, I endeavored to learn more. Thankfully, at that time the History Channel actually ran historical programs. Most notably, Tales of the Gun, a show I loved immensely when I was younger, and I still love now. And thankfully, you can actually see that show on YouTube, and I highly recommend watching it as it is extremely fascinating. Now, after shooting that Marlin Glenfield for many years, I wanted something a bit more advanced. Now, initially I wanted the Ruger Standard, mainly because it looked a lot like the Luger P08, but it wasn't $1,000, and it shot the .22 long rifle cartridge. And at that time, .22 long rifle was extremely inexpensive and very plentiful. Sadly, that's not so much the case now. Now, I did not get that particular pistol mainly because one time at Academy I saw the Henry Standard rifle manufactured by Henry Repeating Arms. And well, my grandfather said this back then, that I completely fell in love when I handled that beautiful firearm. And with that, let's take a look at it, shall we?
The Henry Standard is an interesting collection of features from a number of differing eras. Like with the first Henry rifle, it does load by placing cartridges into a tubular magazine, only it does it in a much more convenient way than on the original Henry. On that particular rifle, you'd have to twist a big chunk of steel out of the way to load cartridges, and you'd have to pull down on a tab to set the spring, whereas on here you simply take out a tube and place some cartridges into a slot. And probably the best innovation that was applied to this rifle was the hand grip. On the initial Henry, it didn't have one, and the rifle would heat up, thus making the rifle somewhat difficult to shoot after just a couple of tubes. The hand grip innovation would not be seen until the 1866 Winchester Yellow Boy that would also introduce the concept of a loading gate. So yes, be very glad it's not a one-to-one replica. Sure, the Henry was the first, but by the great Telos did they have a long way to go. The Henry itself is a very beautiful gun with that classic wood and steel look that I love so much. Unlike with other lever guns, it does not have a pistol grip stock, but rather a straight one, which is something I really wanted, as I wanted the gun to be as classic as possible. In the intervening years, I have refinished the stocks of the weapon, and I have removed the front sight hood, although to be perfectly honest, I cannot remember as to why. As for the front sight itself, it has a bit of orange paint on it to help my rather weak eyes see it better. The iron sights on this weapon are a bit basic. The rear sight is adjustable, but the front sight is not. All of that is really immaterial because I have since scoped it. One of the Henry's other awesome modernizations is the addition of a scope mount on top of the receiver, and I've added a Tasco 3x9 scope on a set of Weaver rings. One thing that really ties the Henry rifle of today and the Henry rifle of yesteryear is the tagline. Back in the American Civil War, when Confederates came up against Union troops armed with the Henry, they'd call it the damn Yankee rifle you could load on Sunday and shoot all week. Well, Henry Repeating Arms has that same tagline for the Henry Standard and other Henry rifles, calling it a rifle you can load on Sunday and shoot all week. And well, there is some truth to that, I would have to say, as this particular rifle here holds 15 rounds of .22 long rifle. Coming off of that single-shot Glenfield, I was rather pleased that it held that much ammo. One thing one must also keep in mind is the fact that today's Henry Repeating Arms has nothing to do with Benjamin Tyler Henry's repeating rifle of the 1860s. Rather, he worked for the company that would later become Winchester Repeating Arms. Henry Repeating Arms really is its own entity. Now today, we're going to be shooting at 25 yards, and we're going to be using the same federal ammo that I used with the Glenfield Model 10. So now, let's head out to the range and see just how well the Henry can perform.
I mean, that sucker holds 50. That's how it's supposed to shoot all day long. That's what Henry's.
First and foremost, the gun itself is just bloody well fun to shoot. The gun is light and airy, and the lever makes a delightful clacking sound whenever it is worked. It's easy to fire off those 15 shots fairly quickly, and it's easy to load up another 15 more. Add to that the fact that the gun is extremely bloody accurate. Just look at these groupings. And I was actually shooting a little low, although I attribute that more to the scope than I do the gun. Really, this thing is a masterpiece of plinking. Now, when I first went to the range to record this video, I figured I would have a decent enough time. Well, I was wrong. After a couple tubes through the Henry, I was having an absolutely amazing time all around. And the trip that I took to make the video turned from work to complete pleasure. And really, the Henry personifies what guns are about. Fun. Non-gun owners see these things as evil weapons of war and death, but experienced gun owners respect the danger they represent and appreciate the responsibility that one must take when operating one, and in so doing, see these things for what they really are. Tools. Tools for what, you may ask? Tools for fun.
I highly recommend the Henry Standard. It's not that much more than the 1022, and really what you get with the Henry is a complete and total work of art. And the Henry Repeating Arms Company in general is actually quite good. I wrote them a testimonial saying how great it was, and they actually sent me some awesome swag. A Henry cap, which is sadly in a box that I can't find, and a Henry mug. But here's something really cool about this mug. When it came in, the handle was broken. I sent them an email saying that the handle was broken, and they sent me another one. That just goes to show you that they actually care about their bloody customers. Something other companies could pay attention to. And so, I am GeneralLotz, wishing you good 1022 and good Henry Standard, or whatever makes you happy.